What's going on, everyone? Welcome into NBA Now. I'm your host, Harris Rubenstein. With All-Star Weekend officially behind us, we decided to take a look at where we stand in both conferences and take a look at the playoff picture. So let's start in the West, because obviously people have been talking about how this conference is one of the best that the NBA has ever seen, and so far it's lived up to the hype a little bit. Hopefully the last 20 games or so will really elevate things here. The Warriors, the Nuggets, the Thunder, and the Blazers are your top 4 seeds as we stand today. The Rockets, the Jazz, the Spurs, and the Clippers currently make up the bottom 4 seeds in the Western Conference playoff hunt. And then into the teams currently on the bubble, the Kings, the Lakers, the Timberwolves, and the Mavericks. And then into the bottom of the conference, it's the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, and the Suns, your resident tankers of the Western Conference. So let's go through a couple teams currently on the bubble. Let's start at this 12th seed with the Dallas Mavericks. Probably out of the playoff hunt now after the Kristaps Porzingis trade. Obviously trading away the likes of Wesley Matthews, DeAndre Jordan, to name a few. And their title odds, according to BetDSI, are as ridiculous as you would expect. Plus 25,000. Basically, don't put money down on them. 538 is giving them a playoff probability of only 3%. But with that trade going down, with Porzingis likely not playing this season, the Mavericks are likely out of the playoff hunt right now, which is a shame because I just don't know how many more years you're going to get with Rick Carlisle. And the more years you miss with the playoffs with him, the worse it looks for the Mavericks. So let's go to number 11. Probably one of the most disappointing teams of the NBA season so far, the Minnesota Timberwolves, sitting at 27-30. They are going to need a massive, I'm talking about career-defining second half of the season from Andrew Wiggins. We got about 30 games left in the season for him to turn these things around. Then sure, he's had a nice year, but they have needed him to step up and be a superstar, and he is just not put up the numbers needed for them to go to the playoffs. Let me know in the comment section below, will the T-Wolves make the playoffs? BetDSI giving us odds here. Yes at plus 730. No for minus 3,300. I'd put a little money down on no if I'd actually make any money off of that. But again, there are a lot of interesting bets that we're going to have over the next couple of teams here. So if you want to make some money and you think you know who's going to make the playoffs out of the West, there's only one place to do it. That's with our sportsbook partner, BetDSI. Head to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NBA120 for a 120% deposit bonus. The most interesting odds that they are giving us right now has to revolve around whether or not the Lakers are going to make the playoffs this year. With a playoff probability of 31%, it is not a shoo-in that LeBron James gets to the playoffs this year. In fact, at this point in the season, this is the worst record for any team with LeBron since his rookie season, which, fun fact, was the last time that LeBron James missed the playoffs. So, one other thing that's interesting about the Lakers, and it actually involves the Lakers as well. If they do not make the playoffs this year, statistically, this will be the best statistical season for any player since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1975 to miss the playoffs. So the Lakers are in historical territory here in terms of not making it to the postseason. And it seems that BetDSI also thinks they are going to miss the postseason. They gave us odds today, plus 240 for yes that the Lakers are going to make the playoffs, and minus 390 for no. I ran to my computer when I saw BetDSI put these odds up. Give me yes all day long. I am absolutely putting money down on the Lakers to make the playoffs. I understand they haven't been good so far. Come on. The Clippers, the Kings, and the Spurs are all that stand in the way of LeBron James making it to the playoff as an 8 seed. Come on. You're telling me that LeBron's not going to be able to win, 13 of the last 20 games to the Lakers and get to the postseason? I think it's a shoo-in. I'm putting down $10 so I can win 24 with a grand total of $34 in my pocket. I'm a happy man. LeBron James has won me a lot of money over the past couple years, and I stand to gain a good amount of dough here as well. Let's go to number 9. The 9th seed in the West right now is the Sacramento Kings. Definitely the surprising team of the NBA season so far. Though the playoff probability for them right now, I think is a little bit too low. 538 giving them a playoff probability of only 12%. Surprising, seeing as how close they are to a playoff spot and how we know that the Clippers are looking to tank in the last 20 games of the season here or so. So let me know in the comment section below, will the Kings make the playoffs this year? They BetDSI giving us odds of yes at plus 820 and no of minus 5,400. I would take the Kings at yes. I think they're going to end up making the playoffs along with the Lakers. I think they're going to bump out the Spurs and the Clippers over the last couple weeks of the season here. But it's just interesting seeing these odds. They're doubting LeBron James. They're doubting how great De'Aaron Fox has been this year. They're doubting Harrison Barnes, who's actually been good for the couple games he's been with the Kings so far. I think the Kings end up making the playoffs, and BetDSI giving you guys a good chance to make some easy money here. Let's jump into the teams that are currently in the playoffs as we stand. The Warriors, the Nuggets, the Thunder, the Trailblazers, the Rockets, the Jazz, the Spurs, and the Clippers. Let's start with that first matchup of the Warriors and the Clippers. Look, the Warriors are the team that we all know is going to win the finals. Like, who are we kidding at this point? They're going to win the title. BetDSI is giving them title odds of -300. -300 at this point of the season is still absolutely outrageous. But with how great the team has been playing over the last 2 months or so, with Boogie coming back, with KD putting up maybe the best season of his career as well, Klay Thompson remembered how to shoot threes. That was probably the weirdest thing that happened this season so far, is that Klay Thompson through the first 30 games of the season just forgot how to shoot threes. It was so odd. And then from about January 1st until the All-Star break, he shot 50% from behind the arc. So nice to see Klay Thompson getting things back on track. But let me know in the comment section below who you guys think is going to make the NBA Finals from the West. I'm putting down the Warriors because, I mean, is it really going to be anyone else except the Warriors? Probably not. And it's definitely not going to be the Clippers, the team of the 8th seed, who they're currently playing right now. Look, this Clippers team just made a massive trade with Tobias Harris being shipped out of town. Brought in a young player, Landry Shamet, brought in a couple picks as well. The tank is officially on for the Clippers. If they make the playoffs this year, they lose their first-round pick to the Celtics. But if they get in the lottery, they don't have to give up that first-round pick. And might just help them a little bit more if they have any interest in trading for Anthony Davis. So 32-27, the Clippers are firmly in that 8th seed, but I think after that Tobias Harris trade, they are going to fall over the next 20 games or so. Let's go to our second matchup here, the Nuggets and the Spurs. At the 2 seed right now, another really surprising team. The Denver Nuggets have been far better than I anticipated them being. I thought they'd be like a 6 seed or a 7 seed in the West. They're the 2 seed right now, 1 game away from winning 40 games. They could end up winning the most games for a Denver Nuggets team since Carmelo Anthony this year. So a big-time year for the Denver Nuggets franchise. Mike Malone has done a great job as a head coach of this team. Nikola Jokic, a dark horse MVP candidate as well. We'll see if this success translates in the postseason. Why? This is the 3rd youngest team in the NBA. It is difficult for these young teams to translate regular season success into postseason glory. So we'll see if the young guys are able to put some things together. But regardless, great to see the Denver Nuggets putting some stuff together about a decade now since that Carmelo Anthony trade. Let's go to number 7. It's the San Antonio Spurs. Consistent as always, back in the playoff spot. DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge having nice seasons, but this team is headed for an easy first-round exit. Just with how this team is constructed, they don't really have the elite talent that you're looking for a team to get out of the first round. In fact, I'd be surprised if they end up making the playoffs entirely. I think they're going to falter over these last 20 games or so. I think the Clippers and the Lakers and those Kings are just going to be better than the Spurs. I'm not a big fan of their rotation. I love Popovich, I do. But even if they do make the playoffs, they are an easy, easy bet to get ousted in the first round. Let's go to 3 and 6 and start with the Thunder. Oklahoma City, has had a great season so far, especially Paul George, who has skyrocketed this year to being one of the best 5 players in the NBA so far this season. He has been spectacular and easily the best two-way player that the NBA has had so far this season. The only issue, Russell Westbrook can't shoot anymore. He's one of the worst three-point shooters in the entire NBA. His true shooting rankings is one of the lowest for any starting point guard in basketball. But the great news is he has turned into a really good facilitator over the past 30 games or so. Steven Adams' offensive statistics have gone up, as have Paul George's. So it'll be interesting to see how this translates to the postseason with Oklahoma City. But they are for sure your NBA champion dark horse. I think if there's any team in the West who will be able to beat the Warriors, it's the Thunder, simply because of how well Paul George has been playing this year, and you just never know. Maybe Russell Westbrook will be able to get hot in a series against the Warriors. You win a couple games, a couple breaks go their way, maybe we see the Thunder pull off a huge upset over the Golden State Warriors. Let's go to the team that they are currently facing in the first round. A big rematch from one of the most surprising upsets in the Western Conference playoffs last year. The Utah Jazz sitting at the 6th seed would be a really fun rematch. Obviously, the Utah Jazz dispatched the Oklahoma City Thunder in 5 games last year, which no one anticipated. And they've been a little bit disappointing. I thought the Utah Jazz were going to pull off of Denver Nuggets and be the 2 seed in the West. I thought with the way they play defense, I thought another year with Donovan Mitchell would really put them over the hump in a certain sense, but just hasn't quite gone that way so far, sitting at the 6th seed here as we leave the All-Star break. Let's go to our last matchup here, probably the most fun playoff matchup that we would have right now if the season ended today. But let's start with the Portland Trail Blazers. This team, I know their postseason success has not been great. This team gets absolutely no love for their consistency. They have made the playoffs every single year for the past 5 years. Damian Lillard has been one of the best point guards in basketball. CJ McCollum has been one of the best players in the game as well. And they have consistently been a force in the regular season and have just gotten into the playoffs every year. Sure, their postseason success has been minimal, and I'm talking nothing. But overall, you can't hate on the consistency that Portland has shown, but they are going up against a buzzsaw in the first round. The Houston Rockets currently sitting at the 5 seed. When this team gets healthy, when Chris Paul is fully healthy, when Clint Capella comes back fully healthy, James Harden obviously has to turn into a little more facilitator when those 2 guys come back. This Rockets team is going to be incredibly scary in the first round. And if Portland, after the season they've had again, has to go up against the Rockets, who was 1 game away from the NBA Finals last year, that's just, look, man, the NBA can be a cruel, cruel mistress, and the Blazers running into the buzzsaw that is the Houston Rockets of James Harden would just be a cruel, cruel way to end the season. Let me know in the comment section below who you guys think will win this playoff matchup. Would it be the Rockets? Would it be the Blazers? And obviously, things are only going to change more over these next 20 games or so, and we'll be sure to keep you guys updated on the Western Conference playoff picture.